Well, hello everyone. This is Doug Courtney. How are you all doing? It's been a while since I've done a video about Belle Terre, about a year ago exactly. The reason for that video was because of all the actions and concerns about what was happening at Belle Terre. And as the year has gone by, we revitalized the Belle Terre Swim and Racquet Club Advisory Committee and done a few other things. But a few other things have happened since then. So we decided to create another video. And some of the things that happened is that on December, the last meeting in December for the school board, the administration, most notably Dave Freeman, got up and said that they'd contacted the city and the county and said that the city and county have decided they no longer wanted to participate in the ILA. So the ILA, which is the interlocal agreement we were going to have between the city, county, school board, and us to create a new governing board for the Belle Terre Swim and Racquet Club, was dead, could no longer be pursued, and we would no longer be able to work in that vein. The school board asked to have that verification put in writing, and as of yet, right now, that has not been done. It's expected to be done on the following Tuesday here. This is the 14th. It's expected to be done on the 21st of February, and they're supposed to be able to confirm that. And then the school board is going to drop the ILA idea and move on to whatever the school board wants to do. To be truthful, I was a little bit upset about all that because that no way, shape, or form did we ever ask the administration to redouble and double check to make sure the city and county would want to continue to be involved in the ILA. That was something that apparently the administration did on their own. That would be, to me, like somebody coming in and deciding to put together a party, which the Belle Terre Swim and Racquet Club Advisory Company did. And then all of a sudden, somebody deciding that they wanted to hold that party somewhere else and just coming in and taking everything away. To be truthful, it was very frustrating and it made me very upset because none of the contacts or none of the people that we dealt with had anything to do with the school board. They were our contacts, our people, and for them to go behind our backs, basically, and make these contacts before contacting us, keeping us informed that they were going to do it, was, a small betrayal at the very least. And it angered quite a few of the people, not only myself. But anyhow, here we are. And they're going to try to have another discussion about Belle Terre Swim and Racquet Club. And of course, we all know how we feel about the school district administration doing anything with Belle Terre Swim and Racquet Club. We feel very much so that they're totally incompetent. But I decided to say, well, let's see exactly what's happening. I know how we feel, but let's see what's happening. So I, in January, requested the documentation for the 5 years of financial records between, let me see again, it was 2017, 2018 through 2021, 2022. These are the financial records, the actual monies they say they're spent, and the actual money they say they got in for Belle Terre Swim and Racquet Club for those records. I finally got them with some help from Cheryl Massaro from the school board and Colleen Conklin about a week ago. I believe it was the 10th of February, and it only took me about, I don't know, 21, 22 days to get these records in, but we do have them. And I decided to take an analysis and see what was happening. So what I'm going to do is try to show you these records and talk you along and let you know what's going on and give you my opinions of them as we do so. I have made an analysis of it. It's quite geeky, so I'm going to try to cut it down real quick for you and let you know where it's at. And then we'll go on from there. So first thing let's do is let's share this screen here so we can get that done. And we're going to start to share, and you should be seeing that very shortly here. And that should be the PDF screen going to start very shortly when I hit the share button correctly. And now you should be seeing the screen for the PDF. This is the screen sharing we're setting here. What you'll see right now, this is the entire screen that we're talking about, these are all the financial records. At the top here is the income, as you can see, that goes down to here. This is the total revenue. And the white that the accounting department says that they have received for Belle Terre Swim Racquet Club for these very fiscal years. In the blue, you will see is what management has said. That is the Belle Terre Swim Racquet Club's managing company department. The Dave Freeman, Mr. Peacock, Renee Stoffacker, and Josh Walker said that they received in those same years. Now we got these numbers for the management reports from the links that the attorney gave us to the meetings that they had and the reports that were given by management at those meetings. And these management reports incorporated the accounting numbers that were given to them by the accounting department. So all these numbers is what I'm trying to tell you are the numbers from the actual accounting department of the city of from the accounting department of the school board, or from the management of the school board, either or. So the ones in white will say the accountant, those are the accountant numbers. Ones in blue are the management numbers. These things at the top in red are the things that affected the income for those years. And they're very important, and we'll get to them later. But like I said, below are all the expenses. And then this is down here is the net losses that they're saying that we had for those years. Now, this is the general thing, and this is extremely difficult for you to see by themselves. And what I've done is I divided to break this down by revenue, and then expenses for labor, then just general expenses. And we'll talk about each one of them separately. So first thing I'm going to bring up is the income for Belle Terre Swim Racquet Club for those years as presented by the accountant versus what was presented by management. And once again, I have to tell you that the management numbers were provided by management based upon the accounting numbers they said they had. Now, the first thing you can see is in 2017, 2018, the accounting department says that we made a grand total of $192,225.49. The management company says the exact same thing. I mean, $192,225.49. So management and account for 2017, 2018 are the exact same numbers. This is what you're supposed to have. This is perfect. This is an agreement between people managing the facility and the people taking care of the money and doing the accounting, saying that we match, the numbers match. This is what was happening. So you'll notice we did make $192,000 that year. The next year, though, the 2018-2019 years, the accounting said we had $199,780. But management said we had $216,924. What? Why don't they match? Well, a quick decision shows you that we had $17,144 brought in from a line item called other courses and classes. And we do that again in 2019 and 2020. The accounting department is saying we're only making $137,930 in 2020. But the management group is saying we're making $187,399. Actually, one of the better years we had. And if you'll note at the top, this is the time that we had the pandemic. We're closed 3 months, and we still, according to management, made $187,399. But according to the accountant, we had $137,930 that we made. And over here on this side, you will notice that it says for this side, 2020, 2021, that they're saying we only made $172,000 for the accountant, but the management's saying we made $247,000. What? Again? And once again in 2021, 2022, accounting is saying we're making $150,000, but management's saying we're only making $148,000. Now, I can't stress to you how important it is these numbers always match. Now, you have to understand the numbers in blue are the ones they're presenting to the school board. Numbers in blue are ones that are presenting to the school board. And They're saying that we're making $247,000 at the same time that the accounting department is saying we only make $172,000. Now, these 3 years, 2018, 2019, 2019, 2020, and 2020, 2021, we have the thing called other courses and classes. That is a line item that the accounting department always had. But somehow, after 2020, 2021, that line item disappeared and management no longer had it available. What is that line item? Well, if you'll notice down here, I have a lot of observations, but I'll let you read them if you want. But the truth of the matter is other courses and classes are basically the fluid accounts, Synchro Bells, Silver Splash classes, and other income sources that, number one, can only be created at Belle Terre and should be credited to Belle Terre. These are the monies that we get in because we have a pool or we have a facility that these people can rent or use. As of 2021, 2022, those numbers were never assigned to Belle Terre. Have no idea why. Have no idea if there's any money. I will tell you this much that I do know. And the accounting department that sent us, that line item was entirely removed from all the reports. The only reports that had that available to us was the reports from management that showed specifically the accounting department had that line item, but is no longer showing it. I have no idea why. I have no idea why, but it does make a big significant difference in the amount of money we're getting. Some of the other things I do want to point out when we have lower money coming in is in 2019, 2020, for 2 months, the pool was totally closed because the brand new full filter broke down and they had nothing to replace it with. Also in the 2019, 2020 year, we had the pandemic where the facility was actually closed for 3 months. So those numbers should be lower. If you go back over to the 2020, 2021 year, the following year, we had no manager for January and for November and December at all. It was just being run by the people that were there, the hourly workers, and nobody working to keep things going. And we didn't have any manager again the following year, 2021, 2022 in January, because the manager didn't get there till the end of January. So we didn't have anybody there managing the place. Also, you'll know that we did not have anybody at all. We didn't, during the last fiscal year, for 9 months, we didn't even have any yearly memberships. People tried to pay yearly memberships, but they were denied. They were told they could only buy monthly memberships. All yearly memberships were gone. We had to fight 9 months to get those back. Now understand that a monthly management at that time was $35 as compared to getting in $225 every time we paid. So the money obviously was reduced during those times, and it was because of management decision. Also, you'll note that between the 2021, 2022 year, that not only they reduced the amount of ways to pay, but they reduced the hours from 86 to 64 per week. So we had less ability to actually have more money. In the same time frame, they got rid of the classrooms, and they also closed the tennis courts. Those things brought in revenue. The tennis courts would brought in over $2,500 to $4,000 without any subsequent cost to the facility. We basically just gave away $4,000. So this is one of the reasons that why we have things here. And what I'm trying to tell you is that what a brief idea of this is there's a lot more money there than is being reported, which makes a difference in exactly how we're going to handle this situation over at Belle Terre Swim Racquet Club. In other words, the school board isn't getting the information they need. It isn't balanced, and nobody knows exactly where the money's coming from. When we tell people that every time we try to get something together, they move the goalpost, this is actual written proof that that actually happens, and they do not know where their money's coming from. But that's not all. So let's go on down to the budget income averages versus what we want to do with the interlocal agreement budget with the county just giving us 20,000, 25,000 a year versus an interlocal agreement with full contributions. What I mean by this is what I'm saying is that I create a system where just using the monies that they have for the accounting and management reports, I created a yearly average, the amount of money we should be getting in a year based upon averages for those years. And I didn't make any exceptions for pandemics or anything. I just added them up, made a division. And what we get here is the averages of total revenue that we get in each year based upon those years, except for the 719 report from management, since they didn't give us any, was 184,487. That's normally what we get in, according to the accounting and management reports. Quite about $40,000 more than what they're saying we're getting in now. Now, under what we propose with the ILA, the first thing we're going to do is make sure we know exactly where the money's coming from. We're going to have everything divided up. First thing is insurance fees of 63,000. Now this column is just getting the regular 25,000 we expect to get in without the city or the school board adding any more additional money or the county adding more additional money. Within this column right here, we would get $63,000 more in insurance fees, and we know that because that's what they're getting now. On the yearly on-site fees are $75,000. What our yearly on-site fees are is those monies that you're going to get selling annual memberships. What this basically represents is selling 250 annual memberships. That we're going to get 75,000. We have 197 memberships now, so we're only talking about adding 53 memberships. Now, there's going to be a discussion about how many memberships we have. But the 197 that I figure I got from the management books. So I don't know where else to go with that. I mean, if they want to say, no, the yearly fees are less or so on and so forth, I don't know where to go because that's their books. That's where I got them from. The monthly fees we're putting at $16,450. Monthly fees are hard to figure. They don't take them out. We don't know what they are. So we know how many swipes they had in February of 2021. That's the number of individual swipes, number of people using it. We know how many members they have, yearly members. So what we did was we took out the yearly members and we took the rest of the money and divided it by 2, just to be a conservative estimate. And by doing that, what we're saying is yearly monthly fee should be somewhere around $16,450. It's a guess. Best guess based upon the information that they gave us. Daily fees, that's that $5 fee you pay if you don't have a membership. We're putting that at $1,750. That's the best guess we can make. That's basically taking out the monthly fees that are paid each month and the yearly and the annual fees and just, the people that will basically come in to pay monthly daily fees, like from snowbirds or whatever. The other courses and classes, that's the number that, the line item just doesn't exist anymore. But based upon the management reports that we're supposed to be getting like 44,000 in from fluid and the swim classes and everything, making a division, dividing up, that's what we should be getting is $50,000 a year from them. Cash receipts, there is no line item for cash receipts, believe it or not. Now, plain observation, just sitting and watching the attendants take the money and realize that they're making about an average of $300 a week in cash receipts. Now they may say, well, we're putting that in, membership fees and everything. Well, not according to their own books. They aren't putting in membership fees. They can't be putting in membership fees because that would mean that we aren't going to have as many as members as they do. The best idea that we can get is cash receipts just aren't even being recorded. They aren't even being told or even put anywhere. I don't think anybody's stealing them or anything. They just aren't being allowed and put towards the amount of monies that we're getting in. What's happening to the cash? I don't know. They have the Belle Terre Swim Racquet Club current management has a very loose, to be quite honest, counting for cash receipts. So I have no idea where they're at. But we should be able to get $15,600 in cash receipts no matter what. And that's what I'm saying. Now, if we just kept the ILA, the interlocal agreement, and just kept the county's contribution and nobody else, we should be making $246,800 a year in income. That's what we should be making. That is the projected budget with the ILA and the county just giving 25,000, which if you look at it, their average right now is they're saying they're making 184,000, getting an extra basically $60,000 more. That's not out of the realm, particularly if you start putting in the courses and the classes involved in there. Now, on the other hand, the last line item you'll see here is that what we did is we added a counter contribution of $150,000. We put cash receipts at what we consider to be a more reliable 25,000. Other courses and classes, which if you add up the numbers should be 75,000. Daily fees at 2,500 and monthly fees at 22,000. Yearly on-site fees, which is once again the annual memberships. What we're talking about is selling 300 annual memberships at $300 a piece. That's $90,000. And the insurance fees, we're just talking about bumping them up to where they were in 2016, 2017. And at that point, what you're saying is that we should be making with a county contribution $454,000, almost $455,000, just with the proposed interlocal agreement. That's what we should be making. And our estimation right now that the county should be making closer to $200,000 than they are in the reporting right now. But to give you an idea of the differences is that Mr. Walker and Mr. Freeman said that we're only going to make about $148,000 this coming up year. What happened to $100,000? What happened to the other courses and classes? What happened to the cash receipts? A lot of questions that haven't been answered. I don't know what's happened to them. I don't think that anybody has stolen the money. I don't think there's that, but it wouldn't surprise me to find out that those funds were diverted to another program somewhere and need to be re-diverted back to Belle Terre. Now you'll notice on the bottom here, it says that line number 10 is highlighted, and it says it appears the line item in counting number 3479, which is the other courses and classes line item, has somehow been forgotten in the reports or funds have been diverted to other accounts and line items. This is what I'm saying. So, as I said, it gets a little geeky, but the bottom line here, summary is that so far, when it comes to income, the county and management, the county accounting department and county management department of Belle Terre never match. The amounts of money are always different, and it seems to be convenient depending on who's reporting it. Also, the other courses and classes line item is seemingly always missing from the current management. And from the current accounting system, they never list that, even though they did list it. It was part of their original listings. And because of that, the amount of money that we're bringing in is grossly underreported from the amount of money that we probably are making. And these things should be looked at. Those are the just bottom line items. We do have, I said, this is available to look at if you want to get a little geeky with me, but I'm trying to give it to you very quickly. Now, if we go to the labor costs for Belle Terre, which is the big thing, that's the thing everybody says cost. There's your cost. So we decided to take a look at that separately. Well, we can't really give you an idea what the labor costs are, because if you'll notice, under current labor costs for Belle Terre, there are no labor costs in the management and accounting reports. The only things we know about labor is a line item called other support personnel, which we have no idea who that is. And the other one is other personal services, which we have no idea who that is. The only ones we're pretty sure of is the one that says custodians. Other than that, these are the only things that we know that relate to anything to do with running Belle Terre. We have no idea what the costs are for the attendance, say, or we have no idea what the costs are for the, lifeguards. We don't know. We have no idea what the costs are for the management or the support staff inside the system. They aren't broken out. They just give these things numbers here. We're supposed to figure it out, I guess. Well, once again, you'll notice that they never match. Management never matches with accountant. Not even 2017 and 18. They just don't match. We have no idea how much our labor costs are. Neither does the management. Neither does the accounting department. And of course, I relate that to simply for the fact that they have no real way of knowing who's doing what or where the management is. They're just putting numbers in there. Now, from prior experience, other personal services is usually the percentages of management that we apply from other departments to help run Belle Terre Racquet Club. But if you'll notice, in 2017, 2018, that number went from 64,000 to the current listing of 80, almost 85,000. It's gone up $20,000 in 5 years. Why? Don't know. Have no idea. According to everything we've been told, the numbers are the same, but somehow it went up $20,000. But here's one for you. Other support personnel in 2017, 2018, which we assume are the lifeguards and the attendants, went from 94,000 to 2021, 22 down to almost 39,000. Why did it reduce? No idea. The most consistent on the whole system seems to be the custodians. For the accounting department, they're always anywhere between $11,000 and $14,000. However, for the same thing, and management, the owners go between $14,000 and $20,000. Once again, nobody knows. And the numbers always move and always change depending on what kind of request you're having. Well, basically what I'm telling you here is there's no delineation between hour or salary workers. We don't know how much percentage we're getting charged. The fluctuations are too high, even during and remained high even during the pandemic. How can our cost for labor remain high when we're shut down for 3 months? I have no idea. They remained high when we didn't have a manager for 3 months. I have no idea, but that's what they are. They're all over the place. So, like I was saying, what we did is decided to do what we would have for labor costs if we use the average for what the accounting and management says is cost of labor for what we expect the cost of labor to be for us. Now, you understand their cost of labor currently is also based upon, 64 hours a week. Ours is going to be based on 86 hours a week because we're planning to open 7 days a week. 5 days of those week, we're going to be open 14 hours a day. So we have a big difference there. We expect our labor cost to be $164,564. And we project it to with a little increase. And that's for the 2023, 2024 years. And that is with, the increase for 2023, 2024, the additional dollar per hour for minimum wage. We expect also to go up in the 2023, 2024 year, the ILA projected budget with, all the things involved, about 170,000 to add a few extra people and everything. So we expect our wages between 165,000 to $170,000 a year, and that's moving to 86 hours a week. Theirs at 64 right now is about 137,000. So we're talking about adding only 27,000 and being open a whole lot more, paying a whole lot more. And we don't know why their issues or what they are, but that's what we're talking about. Okay. Now we want to go down here to the current expenses for Belle Terre presented by accounting versus management. The biggest thing we want to point out here is so that you understand just some stuff to point out is, first of all, once again, the benefits never match up. Second of all, we're paying retirement for somebody. I don't know. Somebody's getting retirement pay. We don't know who it is. Also, they're paying for insurance and insurance protection. Think Aflac. Now we do have to pay for workers' compensation, unemployment insurance. We expect to pay for that. But all in all, there are some things we won't have to pay for, and that obviously would be retirement insurance and insurance protection. We'd allow them to get that through the Affordable Care Act and do the things they want to do there, which is save us quite a considerable amount of money. But I do want to point out down here, the materials and supplies, you will find, except for a couple of days, materials and supplies pretty well match up between the two. The only time they don't match up is at this point here for the management report and this point here for the management report. For some reason, according to managers in the 2019-2020 year and the 2020-2021 year, we went from paying about $4,000 for dues and fees to $21,000 and $28,000 respectively for dues and fees. Now, why would we pay $28,000 for dues to what? Or fees for what? We have no idea. They never tell us. They absolutely never tell us. So once again, like I said, other than those dues and fees, actually the numbers pretty well match up. Question though is if labor doesn't match up and income doesn't match up, how come materials and supplies does? Why is that the one other than those two I pointed out that don't seem to really mess up at all? Makes a person wonder. But once again, management and accounting should always match. We should always know where our money's going. And we don't here. These books don't allow it. And we don't have any real idea of how much money we're making or losing. Now, I did a real quick thing here of what I feel are profits versus losses between the accounting and management versus us. So once again, you'll see at the top, this is the averages for accounting management reports. And one of the things I put in here, you'll notice it says marketing and reserve fund for capital expenses. Accounting and management have neither. They don't have a marketing account and they don't have a reserve fund for capital expenses. That's why things don't get fixed. That's why things don't get built. So what I'm pulling this out here for you is to show you that if we ran it and we just use the county's $25,000, not getting the rest of it, okay, that we would put $20,000 aside for marketing. And even with the total materials and the supplies, even with the money we're planning on expending for labor, even with the money we expect to get in from revenue, our loss, just getting $25,000 from the county, would only be $48,455. That's just if we only got the $25,000 we're getting from the county. If we put in the full interlocal agreement with full contributions, we'd be able to do all that, put $100,000 aside for a capital reserve fund, and still make $45,000. I can't emphasize how much that the information we're receiving and the way that money is being spent and not reported between the accounting department and the management department to the school board has skewed the report so much. Not being able to know where the money is spent, not knowing where it's at, losing line items of income. It's just really not very conducive to that. Once again, this is available. We have everything available for you if you want to see it. It's not looking good. All right. Now, I do want to put up there the goals of the school management of Belle Terre versus what we want to do as the advisory committee with the interlocal agreement. First of all, right now, the school management has no plans for the facility, none whatsoever. There's no educational plans, no community plans, no plans for any operational, say maintaining the facility or organizing its closure. Their only goal is to contain costs and avoid losses and not to use taxpayers' funds for operation. There is no focus on any result as no goal has been created. All plans for expansion, addition, or future use, there are none. There's no plans for inclusion of community or educational benefits. They have nothing. All reports that they give skew towards highlighting only the losses in any and all manner, as if the management feels that they're meeting the needs of the school board, what the school board actually wants to hear. Now compare this to what Belle Terre Advisory Committee wants to do, particularly with the LLA. We want to create a community life center to all ages and areas of Palm Coast. We don't just want to worry about the schools. We want to create a part of a park community center system for Flagler County. We want to be part of the park and community care system. We want to have new classrooms, cafeteria, meeting room. We want to have a walking, running track, basketball courts, maybe volleyball and badminton courts. We want to integrate senior citizens, students, and community members to create a really community life center. We want to add pickleball courts, new locker rooms, a refurbished sauna, a community garden. We want to create a donation and grant system so we can build these and add to these facilities. We want to wean ourselves from all government contributions, all taxpayers' dollars, and allow the facility to stand on its own. We want to create a reserve fund for maintaining repairs, our capital assets, and to contribute to new facilities. We want to constantly integrate learning in the schools with the Belle Terre programs so that those students get real world experience for students. We want to ensure that while meeting these goals, the center does not exceed its environment. We don't want to make this a regional center where everybody and 10,000 people a day are coming in. We don't want that. We want to remain a wanted part of the neighborhood. This is the big point. One of the things that make Belle Terre beautiful is that we have good attendance, but we aren't overwhelming the neighborhood. We are a community member. Okay, we want to keep a fully heated pool available for the entire community and all guests, but we'd also like to add canopies on the pool, tennis, and pickleball courts so they can be easily used during the coldest of the cold winters, which aren't too cold here, and the warmest of the warm summers, which are extremely warm here. We got plans, we got ideas, we got ways and means of trying to seek those plans and ideas. And that's a whole lot better than just sitting there looking at something and saying, I don't know, and which it seems what's going on here. I got a summary here. I'm not going to read it to you, but basically what we're saying is that the accounting and accounts of Belle Terre leave a whole lot more questions than they do answers. Their accounts are what we call nebulous accounts. They can put anything in them they want or take anything in they out. Well, the idea is we call them miscellaneous accounts. You can put anything in there and take anything out. Nobody knows what it is. There needs more detail of what they're doing, more ideas we're going. They can't make a decision. Management can't make a decision. The accounting department can't make it, and most definitely the school board can't make a decision unless you actually know where your costs are going, where your income is coming from, and you know exactly what you're spending. These present none of those. They're just basically pieces of paper with something on them. There's, like I said, there's just no too many general accounts. Like Fund 0162, other support personnel, just things are too bad. And the most disturbing in this analysis is there are just no goals for Belle Terre for the management. All they do is just decry everything and say no to everything. Belle Terre can be a great asset to the neighborhood, the community that it's in, and Flagler County and Palm Coast entirely. It can eventually, if worked properly, no longer be a part of the school system if we want to work it that way. But it has to be able to get something done. And the biggest thing we have to do is we have to get the school board out of the game. They just don't know what they're doing. They absolutely don't know what they're doing. And we need to move forward from that. We need to get these things done. This is detailed, geeky stuff. I'm sorry about that, just the way it is. But I'm trying to let you know right off the bat that we're trying to take care of what we can. This did not look good for the school district. It did not look good for management when we got these reports. And I really upset that we had to take that long to get them. It does look like there is a very viable organization here. There are issues that can be resolved, but we need to have somebody that knows what they're doing to get them done. This group, unfortunately, for one reason or another, just doesn't. I don't know why. I do believe the school board has the ability to get that taken care of. I look forward to working with them, hopefully, to make sure that it does. You all have a good day. If you want more information on this, let me know. I do have these reports available. As I said, they are geeky. I will email them to you. And I'll talk to you all later. Have a good afternoon, evening, morning, or wherever you find yourself watching and reading this. Goodbye.